Hello and welcome back to the David67 Celtic News YouTube channel. Today's video going to be a wee post-match review of the Celtic 4-0 win over Motherwell yesterday on Boxing Day. We look at the stats, we look at the goals, a wee bit of ratings for the players and one or two wee thoughts regarding the performance and a wee update on the injury situation at Celtic. Before we do crack on with the video, just a wee suggestion, encouragement. If you are new to the channel, not yet subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. If you like the video, please do click that like button. It does help spread the channel and help spread Celtic Football Club to more and more people on YouTube, and do pop your own thoughts regarding the ratings, the performances, any other issues relating to yesterday's game against Motherwell, or any other burning issues regarding Celtic at the moment. In the end, a nice comfortable 4-0 win for Celtic. I had the pleasure of having a Boxing Day party yesterday, so I was doing a lot of cooking and food preparation, etc. in the afternoon. And it just so happens that a couple of my extended family are Motherwell supporters, and so we were checking the scores and updates and texts, etc. off and on throughout the afternoon, and it was them that gave me this Celtic t-shirt and one or two other wee Celtic related presents, and so it was actually a thoroughly nice Boxing Day afternoon and evening, and the 4-0 win was a nice extra present for the afternoon. We all had a nice chat about the ins and outs and the decisions, etc. So a very pleasant day for me yesterday, both in terms of a family party and also having a nice chat with a couple of my extended family who are Motherwell supporters. Enough of that. Celtic did take a wee bit of time to get going in the game. One or two wee bits of controversy in the first half. First half ended nicely with Celtic winning a penalty kick when Yang was clipped in the box by the Motherwell goalkeeper. For me, not convinced it was a penalty. It looks rather a soft penalty, a little bit of contact. However, both the referee and VAR gave the penalty, and Arne Engels very confidently tucked the ball away to the goalkeeper's right, Arne Engels left, and Celtic went into half-time 1-0 up. Have to say that the earlier incident where Dyson Maeda was clean through on goal, first shot was well saved by the Motherwell goalkeeper, but the ball was heading towards the net, and it did look like to me that Dyson Maeda was taken out following in the rebound. However, neither the referee nor VAR thought that was a penalty. And I think that actually was probably a more convincing penalty than the one we got. Early in the second half, Dyson Maeda was slightly pushed in the box. Again, it wasn't given, and I don't think that was a penalty myself either. Celtic did actually get a bit brighter in the second half, a bit more on top, and lovely corner by Arne Engels, head flicked on by Liam Scales at the front post, and Dyson Maeda following in at the back post, bulleted the header into the net, so 2-0 up. A few wee substitutions on came Kuhn and Hatate, both of whom I think played very well. Kuhn looking much more industrious down that right wing for Celtic, and it was him cutting in to the middle of the pitch. Good shot that was net bound, although I suspect probably would have been saved by the goalkeeper. However, the deflection took it past the goalkeeper. Celtic 3-0 up, and Rio Hatate, I thought, who had a good game. Nice bit of interchange with Kyogo to Valley. Valley then setting up Hatate, who made a bit of space, and Hatate finished the scoring with a lovely shot into the goalkeeper's left-hand corner, and 4-0 win for Celtic. Celtic did have actually a couple more chances after that. Kyogo had a half chance that was saved at the front, the front post, and another one where he missed his bicycle kick following in a rebound off an Hatate shot. 4-0 win, and extended our lead at the top to 12, and then happily, a couple of hours later, our big cross-city rivals Rangers blew their game against St Mirren, ending up losing 2-1 with a very well-worked late goal for St Mirren. From what I have gathered from highlight packages and sports sites, a very much deserved win for St Mirren against a very poor performing Rangers side who done a wee bit of resting and rotating, and clearly their team kind of fell apart, particularly in the first half. Enough of my thoughts about the big rivals. Moving on to the stats. Celtic massively on top in terms of all the stats. Possession was 84-16 for Celtic. Shots were remarkable 23-2 for Celtic. 7 on targets for Celtic, none on target for Motherwell. 8 off targets for Celtic, 1 off target for Motherwell, 1 blocked for Motherwell, and 8 shots blocked for Celtic. No saves for Kasper Schmeichel to make, 4 for the Motherwell goalkeeper. A remarkable 57-9 for touches in the box, and corners 6-3. And so in pretty much every single category, Celtic massively on top, and I think it shows Celtic very much deserved their 4-0 win. Could easily have been 5 or 6. And I think the contrast between this game and the game against Dundee United, where we ended up drawing 0-0, is that the team were much better at getting shots on goal. We had 7 shots from outside the box, which was quite a contrast from the Dundee United match, where we seemed desperate to get the ball into the box and couldn't get through the massive defenders that Dundee United threw out at the weekend. Also, a lot more efficiency in terms of our shooting, and a lot more getting into the box by particularly Dyson Maeda, and also by the midfielders as well. And so a much more all-around good performance by Celtic. Looking at my own personal ratings for the players, Kasper Schmeichel I've given a 6, mostly because he had absolutely nothing to do. He recycled the ball, got the ball back into play quickly, but pretty much had nothing at all to do in terms of actual saves or stopping Motherwell from scoring. Given Anthony Ralston 6.5, we're really quite disappointed with Ralston's performance in that first hour or so. Really wasn't getting forward to service or support Yang, which I think was part of why Yang's performance wasn't that effective as well. Strangely, when on comes Nicholas Kuhn, Ralston was all suddenly supporting Kuhn's good passes to Kuhn, overlapping and creating a nice cutback that Kyogo met at the front post, which was well saved late on by the Motherwell goalkeeper. So 6.5 for Ralston, 6.5 for Liam Scales. I think he didn't really have very much to do defending wise, but what he did have to do, he didn't do that well. The one and only chance Motherwell really had, it was Scales who missed his header, which then allowed the Motherwell player to head the ball towards goal, and it looked like the Motherwell striker Watt was actually the player who knocked the ball over the bar, rather than getting out the way of that header, which would have been net bound, and it was directly due to Liam Scales' poor marking and clearance at that corner. To be fair to Scales, he did actually have 1 or 2 nice wee passes in midfield and in the attacking zone, and it was his head flick that helped set up Maeda's second goal, so 6.5 for him. 6 for Greg Taylor. Thought he had a rather quiet game, didn't really do terribly much in defence, didn't make any mistakes, but nor did he really contribute terribly much in midfield or in the final third. Cameron Carter-Vickers, nice calm performance, nice control performance, no mistakes, much better positioning, much more better defending than Scales, so 7 for Carter-Vickers. 7 for Callum McGregor, nice, quiet, efficient performance, got control more of midfield than he did against Dundee United, so 7 for him. 7.5 for Arne Engels. I thought he was his best performance for the last month or so. A couple of chances he created, scored the penalty kick very nicely, had a lovely free kick that just missed shortly before coming off as a sub, and of course it was his corner that set up the second goal. Beautifully hit front post corner, head flicked by Scales for Maeda to score at the back post. So 7.5 for Engels, 6.5 for Paolo Bernardo. Thought he started quite brightly. Nice pass early on that nearly set up Ida with a header. Then he seemed to drift out the game and less effective and later substituted. So 6.5 for him. Given Yang 6.5, don't think he got the best of service out wide. He also tended to stick to his wing. But as I said, I don't think he was getting terribly much support from Ralston, not much overlapping from Ralston. And certainly Yang's best performances have been in conjunction with Alice Johnson on that side, as the two seem to have a good understanding, and Johnson quite often overlaps Yang or 1-2s to give Yang space in behind to use his pace and crossing ability. Yang did get us a penalty and sort of bumped him up to 6.5. 7 for Adam Ida. I thought he had a fine job in his 60-odd minutes of game. Had a couple of half chances, improvised to get a nice shot on goal that was well saved by the goalkeeper and led the line nicely. 7 for him. Given 8 and man of the match to Dyson Maeda. I thought it's his best performance again for about a month or so. Got himself in the box lots, nearly scored in that one-on-one with the goalkeeper, was then taken out for what I think probably was a deserving penalty. Got himself back into the box for the header that put us 2-0 up. A lot more busy and active and efficient and accurate up and down that left side. So 8 in man of the match for Dyson Maeda. In terms of the subs, given Kyogo 7, I thought he looked bright and active. A couple of half chances late in the game. And I think it's just a matter of time before he starts scoring consistently for Celtic. Luke McCowan, 6. I thought he was rather disappointing. 1 or 2 nice wee touches and moves and passes, but not really contributing terribly much more than Paolo Bernardo had done. 7 for Rio Hatate. I thought he looked nice and bright and breezy, got himself involved, and a lovely right foot shot to give us the fourth goal. Alex Valley came on very late and was part of setting up the fourth goal. I personally would go with Valley against Rangers in 6 days' time, but I suspect Rodgers will go back to Greg Taylor, with maybe Taylor getting rest on Sunday against St Johnstone and Valley getting the start, but we'll see how that goes. And finally, 7.5 for Nicholas Kuhn. It was great to see him on the bench. Great to see him coming on for half an hour or so, and Celtic did look much more threatening, much more active and aggressive down that right-hand side. He does have that wee bit more pace and beat the fullback on a couple of occasions. On other occasions, cut inside on his left foot, and of course had his hand in setting up a couple of chances and scored one for himself. And so 7.5 for Nicholas Kuhn, and great to see him back. Do wonder whether Celtic might keep Kuhn on the bench against St Johnstone for another half hour or so out at the end of the game, and I wouldn't be too surprised if Luis Palma gets the start instead of Yang at the weekend. I think it would be a bit risky personally to play Kuhn against St Johnstone. I think we keep him back for the big game against Rangers on the 2nd of January. Now, you may well have your own thoughts regarding the ratings. You may well feel other players deserved a bit more, a bit less. You maybe had a different man of the match. So if you do want to pop that into the comment section, that's completely fine. We can have a nice wee discussion and debate. Finally, just looking at the Celtic news sites, not terribly much going on in terms of new news, no real movement on contracts or players coming in and out. Quite a lot of stories suggesting that Brendan Rodgers is going to give Johnny Kenny a good go at establishing himself as a third striker at Celtic when he comes back off his loan period with Shamrock Rovers, where he's been a big success for 2 seasons, including scoring quite a number of goals in Shamrock's successful European Conference League season. And I do wonder whether Kenny, having had that 2 years of full experience in Ireland, might well contribute well for Celtic as that extra striker coming off the bench. We'll see how that goes. Main news is Brendan Rodgers says that Alistair Johnston was kept out of the game against Motherwell as a precaution. He will be part of the squad potentially for St Johnstone on Sunday. Wouldn't be too surprised to maybe see him on the bench coming on for 15-20 minutes at the end. And I think very much Rodgers will keep him, much like Kuhn, fit and fresh for the big game against Rangers on the 2nd of January. But in the last check, no other Celtic news, and so we'll finish things off at that point there. Just a wee polite request, etc. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please do click that subscribe button. Keep the numbers pushing further and further up through the 1100s. If you have liked the video, do click that like button. Remember, there is also a wee poll on the David67 channel for your own player of this first half of the season, with the 4 nominees being Kuhn, McGregor, Johnston and Maeda. And finally, do feel free to pop your pleasant, polite thoughts, comments, opinions in the comment section regarding yesterday's game, the game against St Johnstone at the weekend, and then Rangers the following Thursday, and any other Celtic issues at the moment. And so until the next video, goodbye and hail, hail.